good morning, BS Criminology Foxtrot, and to my teacher, Sir Raymond Hilado. So we will tackle about Chapter 4, which is Filipino core values. So when you say Filipino, it's specific by us or was born in the Philippines. Magsiling ka naman niya, core values are not description of the work we do or the state or the strategies we employ to accomplish our mission or a mission mo as a Filipino or a mission mo as a public servant. So, next slide.
Good day, everyone. My topic for today, basic concept of core values. Values are a person's organization, fundamental beliefs. These principles dictate conduct and can assist individuals to know the distinction between right and wrong. Values are essential because they assist us to grow, they assist us to build the future that we want to experience. The choices we make reflect our values and beliefs and are always aimed at a particular purpose. We create a conscious decision to concentrate on what matters to us. Values are a person's organization, fundamental beliefs. So when we say fundamental beliefs, those that are bred from the various experiences that each of us has. So when you experience a lot when you are young, those hardship and the better life, this can assist individuals or this can assist you to know what is right or wrong. Values are essential because they assist us to grow, they help us to determine what is important to us. Values describe the personal qualities we choose to embody to guide our actions, the sort of a persons we want to be, the manner in which we treat ourselves and others, and our interaction with the world around us. They provide the general guidelines for conduct.
Next is Filipino value system. It is influenced by many races, mostly Spaniards. That's why some of their beliefs is inherited by the Filipinos, and also you can tell a person if he or she is Filipino by looking on his action. For example, in other countries, native foreigners there can exactly determine if someone is a Filipino or what, or in Asian, because, for example, in the looks and of course in the things that they do, Filipinos have more action that can determine easily by the foreigners. That's why Filipino value system is mostly influenced by many races, and it is unique value system that most of the countries don't have. Thank you.
The U.S. and Contemporary Planetary Society, Inapio and Roald Dahl 2000. For example, if we don't know a person's nationality, but she looks like often to us, Filipino ka ba? A famous sociologist say that there are no negative Filipino values, only the wrong use of values. Values slowly alter, but it depends on how powerful families are to preserve, promote, and pass on our cultural values from one generation to the next. So, based on my research, the full name of Landa Hocano is Felipe Landa Hocano. He was a Filipino anthropologist, educator, and author, known for his anthropology and in particular for documenting and translating the Hinilawod, a Western Visayas folk epic. So there's no Filipino negative values, only for the wrong use of values. And di ba wala gid man ta sala nga or lain nga Filipino values, sala na gid ang paggamit ta or sala ta gid kisa kag as we see miara gitaya nga sa pamilya ta nga grabe mag-preserve or disiplina sang ilang pamilya or members ang ilang family nga dapat mag-amuni kung ano ang mayong pamatasan, daga ka-develop na sa mga apo or mga nagakasunod ng mga kabataan or mga next generation ng mga kabataan nila.
So, hello guys, this is the philosophical foundation of Filipino values. And Filipino values are focused on preserving social harmony, mainly a group's willingness to be accepted. And we have two primary sanctions against diverging from these values. So, we have hiya, ideas approximately translated as a sense of shame. So number two, a more proper self-esteem. So when we say hiya, is generally defined as translated to mean shyness or shame, and hiya is also related to pride and also connected to self-esteem or self-image. So when we say self-esteem ang kung sa Tagalog, pagpapahalaga sa sarili. So hindi man sa tanan nga bagay mahuya-uya lang ta, so dapat halagahan man naton nga kagalingon.
Anthropologist Leonardo Mercado says that the Filipino philosophy is basically non-dualistic or walang katuturan. And he concludes, based on his linguistics analysis of Filipino values terms such as loob, Cebuano buot, that Filipinos desire harmony not only interpersonal relationship but also nature and religion.
Good day everyone, my name is Vicente Pimo Jr. Now I will be discuss about the models of Filipino values. Indigenous model or the traditional model. Traditional and non-formal model or the indigenous model is deeply integrated in Filipino subconscious. Subconscious meaning of or concerning a part of a mind of which one is fully aware but which influence one's actions and feelings. Kumbaga, sa una-una isa lang nakabalo hasta nga daw halos kita tanan, nakabalo na kay tungod na impluwensyahan sang isa hasta na sang tanan. Kag naanda na sang tanan. So next, indigenous meaning originating or occurring naturally in a particular place. Kung diin na ang amo nga lugar or natural nga gakatabo sa amo nga lugar. So in our country, damo kita tradisyon like for example diri sa amon. Sa Inigaran, ang amon tradisyon diri kada tuig ang Hinugyaw Festival nga ginatawan. Amo na diri ang amon tradisyon sa kada tuig. So non-formal kay tungod sa Pilipinas hindi isa lang ang aton tradisyon kundi damo sa kada lugar. So in additional, Felipe Cano was a Filipino anthropologist, educator, and author known for his significant body of work within the field of Filipino anthropology. So, si Felipe Cano, siya ni ang nag-identified sa two models of Filipino value system. The first is the exogenous model or the foreign model, while the second is indigenous model or the traditional model.
So, good evening everyone. My name is Roger Pinicol, VS to Foxtrot. We are talking about the indigenous model or the traditional model. An indigenous model must reflect indigenous reality. It must integrate the past, the vision for the future. It must acknowledge resources and challenges that allow communities to build a commitment to identifying and resolving health concerns and issues. So, ang indigenous model ay, ang ibig sabihin nito ay sumasalamin sa mga indigenous na kamatauran nga dapat nang iupod ta ang sanguna pa kag sang hasta subong sa mga planaw sa mga tao para mapakita sila kag pakilala ito sa mga nakuhaan naton sa ating hamon sa paggawa ng ating komunidad na bumubuo sa pangako sa pagkilala ng pagdutas ng mga alanin at mga isyu sa ating bansa. Ang indigenous model. So, these are example of traditional model. The traditional model calls upon respond to needs others. So, the traditional model calls upon respond to the needs others ay ginatawag naman naton nga sila nga tagon para nga kung anong kanilanon sang iban matagta sa ila. So, these are our traditional models. So, next is, what is an example of indigenous? So, an example of indigenous are the Native Americans of the United States originating, growing, or the regions native to a particular regions or environment but occurring thoroughly in other place as well. The American black bear is indigenous to many different parts of the North America. So, ibig nang sabihin sa example of indigenous ay ang halimbawa ng indigenous ng Amerikano sa aton sang Estados Unidos o pinagmulan ng malaki o paggawa na tiyak na ginagawa ng lugar o leyon katubo sa particular o sa aton nga palibot sa una naman ang mga natural na pangyayari at sa iba pang lugar. Ang Amerikanong itim o ang indigenous ay maraming iba't ibang bahagi sa mga kadalasan sa North America. So, these are our example of indigenous there. So, the end. Thank you and God bless everyone. Keep safe.
Good morning everyone, my name is Odelmo Dutar Dudolfo A from Criminology to Foxtrot. I am here now to report and explain the structures and elements of Filipino values. The Filipino value system is known to possess significant key components based on research, surveys, observation, anecdotes, and other literature developed by scholars and researchers in relation to Filipino social values. Ang Filipino value system ko now nakilala sa pamagi sa ilang gingimuan, no? Base sa research, base sa survey, sa observation kag iban pa nga literatures nga ging develop ka scholars and researchers in relation to Filipino social values. Ang structures and elements of Filipino values may tatlo na sa ka-surface values. Una-una ang hiya, ownership or ginatawag nga dignity sa English. No? May sample ko din mo. Are sample. Hiya or shame. This controls the social behavior of Filipino. It is a value that makes a Filipino be obedient and be respectful to parents, older siblings, and authorities. It is also a key ingredient to the loyalty of one's family. Ang three surface kinusang values, una ang hiya. No? Siyempre, dapat may kahuya kita. Hindi ka Pinoy kung wala kahuya. Lampingasan ka. Charot. No? Sakto na. Ang hiya, gid, ang panalaytay sa Pilipino. For example, mag birthday. No? Muna sa. Kuno, abi kuno, hindi ka pa prugli, gutom-gutom ka na. Tapos, ikadua, ang pakikisama, no? Companionship or esteem nga ginatawag sa English. Importante gina ang pakikisama. Pakikisama requires someone yielding to group opinion, pressuring him to do what he can for the advancement of his group, sacrificing individual welfare for the general welfare. Ang pagkikisama, importante gina, especially sa mga tao nga bago mo lang na kilala o bago mo lang na nalubilo, no? Tapos ang ikatatlo, amo sang utang na loob, gratitude o solidarity, no? Ang utang na loob, may sample mo ko na lang, is an obligation to repay a person from whom one has received a favor, no? Ara may sample tada ng ginikanan kag ang bata. Tapos ang nagtigulang na ang bata nagatipa naman sa iya nga ginikanan. When abuse, utang na loob becomes a burden as it makes a person beholden to his debtor and a hindrance to freedom of decision. Ang utang na loob, ang sample na ginamor sa nagipad ako sa ginikanan mo, no, dapat isuklian mo man na siya. Kay gimpakaon kanila alin siyang gamay, ginatipan kag wala ging pabayaan. No? Tapos totality referring to society or not doing stuff alone. Tapos may ang structures and elements of Filipino values, may two types of kapwa na siya, no? May meaning tadi ka kapwa, meaning of kapwa. The meaning of kapwa means togetherness, no? Sa word pala nga togetherness, da mo na mabase, mabalaan nga kapwa na is the core construct of Filipino psychology. Kapwa refers to community, no? Community or society, not doing things alone. Kapwa as two categories, ibang tao or natawag sa English nga other people, and hindi ibang tao, no, not other people. First, ibang tao. Example, matali ka, ibang tao. Dala. Ibang tao. Or outsider. May 5 domains na sa pakikitungo, civility, pakikisalamuha, act of mixing, pakikilahok, act of joining, pakikibagay, conformity, no? Pakikisama, being united with the group. No, may 5 domains na, muna 5 domains siya. Tapos ang hindi ibang tao, may 3 domains muna. Pakikipagpalagayang loob, act of mutual trust, pakikisangkot, act of joining others, kipagkaisa, being one with others. Tapos other notable elements of motivation of Filipino values. optimism about the future. No? Arab lang ga ano ka na? Ga paminsar ka na bla. Nga ngimo nga future maayo. No? Mindset na sa Pinoy. Miski wala pa, imo nga mindset positive. No? Tapos pessimism about the current circumstances and activity. Nado ka dala may sample tadi. Sample pessimism. Encourage pessimists by discussing what could go wrong. Mula daw ga paminsar ka kung ano gid ba ng sala, no do ginakoreksyonan mo. No? Do ka ano ka? Advanced thinking. Concern for others individual, no? Sama na sa Filipino values ang concern for other individual. Example, be nadakpan to mo be migo sa pauwak manok. Tapos na concern ka kay ambot kung ano natabo to siya. Mga priso sa blaw kung hindi naman na. No? The presence of friendship and friendliness. No? Dapat ang present kung ara gina sa Filipino values gina sa ang the presence of friendship and friendliness. No? Mabatsaga mo na nga true friend mo sa kung ang present siya ara si mo. Gaulikid siya si mo. Ka ginapaminsarya ka kung nga abala nung sala mo ni ginakoreksyonan niya ka, no? Pero sa mga eksakto man nga mga bagay. The habit of being hospitable. The habit of being hospitable amo na sa doga care kagid la, no? Hospitable kagid sa imo isang kapariyo. Spiritual nature. Ang spiritual nature likas na na sa imo nga amo ka na, no? Likas na sa isa ka Filipino value. Sa ka Pinoy. Respect for oneself and others, no? Respeto mo imo kaugalingon, kay respetohon ka man sang iban, no? Kung ang ginarespeto mo kaugalingon mo, siyempre respetohon mo man ang iban nga tao. Respect for the female member of society, no? Sa pana. Respeto mo gid ang female, no, o babae sa ina nga community o sa ina nga society, no? Kaya ang babae grabe gid niya, no, perte ka, sensitive, kabin pa sa mga lahi, no, mga law. Kay kung ano lang gamay-gamay lang atingke, pwede ka gid makasuwa nila. Muna i-respect mo. Fear of God, no? Ang Pilipino, grabe gina niya. Fear of God gina. Christianity. Mga Kristiyano gina mga Pinoy. Oh, di may kukbalo kung ng iban. Na, basta may fear of God, no? May kakulba ka sa Ginoo, maging maayo kagit. No? Abhorrence of cheating in other act, no? Daw na ilang kabla sa mga cheating, no? O kung sa mga giyo nga mga sala-sala, no? Daw hindi kabla do against kay bla sa mga sala nga mga nahimo bla, no? Daw wala ka agree, daw wala mo gina tolerate ay na nga mga giyo o mga cheating. Sa ano dira lang guro ang ako nga report, no? Thank you kag tani na enjoy nyo ang ako nga report.
Good day everyone. Ako uli si Jonel, si Undi. Today I will going to discuss the values of the Filipino, specifically uphold the following elements. So there are 7 elements. So first I will going to discuss a family united solidarity. What is family united solidarity? It means that a Filipino have a strong family ties, unite or support in every decision of our family. It means that kuno nga kita nga mga Pilipino miyara sang matasan nga pagsuporta sa aton nga pamilya. So sa kada desisyon sang aton nga pamilya ginasuportaran tanan bad or good. And number 2, security of the Philippine economy. For the Philippines and the Filipino people, national security is a defined state or condition wherein the Filipino welfare, well-being, ways of life, government and its institution, territorial integrity, sovereignty, and core values are enhanced and protected. So, kita ko nung mga Pilipino may ara sa concern about sa economic sa aton nga pungsod. So, wala ta gini ginapabayan or gabuli kita para mag-enhance ang aton nga ekonomiya. And number 3, orientation toward small groups. So it means that several characteristics influence small group, including size, structure, interdependence, and shared identity. In terms of size, small group must consist of at least 3 people, but there is no set upper limit on number of the group members. So it means that a Filipino that have a ang butsilingon sini ang Pilipino kuno may ara sang pamatasan nga or leadership nga ginatawag para mangin isa ka miyembro sang isa ka grupo kag amos na. And number 4, personalism. Any philosophy that consider personality and supreme value in the measuring of reality. Its American form took root in the late 20th century and continues its life in 21st century. So, ang personalism sa kuno ka philosophy nga ginatawag sang American that kung ano kuno ang values sang imong kaugalingon. And number 5, the concept of loob or kalooban, meaning what inside of self, the inner self, or the actual personal feeling of the self, or in simple word, pakiramdam. So, kung ano ba lang aton nga nagakabatsyagan or aton nga feelings sang aton nga kaugalingon. And number 6, existence and maintenance of smooth interpersonal relationship. It means the core values of every Filipino community, they involve a shared identity, engagement on an equal basis with others, and giving importance to the individual versus agencies or institutions. So, ang ginanamin sini, example lang mga trabahador. So, pangita sila way para maging communicate or to be make a friends para mangin tawhay ang obra or hindi boring. And lastly, the sense of the self. So, your sense of self refers to your perception of the collection of characteristics that define your personality traits, abilities, likes, and dislikes, your belief system or moral code, and the thing that motivate you. This all contribute to self-image or your unique identity as a person. So, ang sense of self ko no, ang duna na sa aton nga mag-feel sang kung ano ang aton nga batasan or diri gani ang self-image or unique identity as a person. So, may ara kita nga unique nga identity bilang persona. So, example, may ara kasang batasan nga mamidligon. So, amo na sa. The next, the values are categorized into particular cluster or macro cluster. So, there have 4 cluster. So, first, cluster of relationship. Second, social cluster. And cluster of livelihoods or cluster of inwardness. And lastly, cluster of optimism. So, first, cluster of relationship. It means that refers to a situation where there are a group of entities in the database where every entity is linked to every other entity. So, ang namin ko no, ang kada individual nag-unite or nag-combine to work in one para mapadali ang obra or mas mayo ang flow sang work kag sang relationship in every people or employee. Second, social cluster. A fundamental problem related to this network is discovery of cluster or communities. Usually, a clusters is a collection of individuals with dense friendship patterns internally and sparse friendship externally. We give a precise definition of cluster shortly. So, ang social cluster, amo naman sa community bala. So, kung ano ang problema sa komunidad, unite or nagbuligay para mangin mahapos or pag-solve sang problema. Number 3, cluster of livelihoods or cluster of inwardness. It means that livelihood cluster are low-skilled or non-permanent wage employment and farming environmental resources. So, ang cluster of livelihood, amo nisa ang mga ang mga mangunguma naton or farmers or wala bala sang permanente nga work or employment, and high-skilled permanent wage employment or self-employment and farming. So, may ang cluster of livelihood may ara sa sang duwa. So, ang una to ang low-skilled and ang isa ang high-skilled permanent wage. So, amo ni sila ang mga employee sa government or mga self-employed o ginatawag naton nga mga businessman. And number 4, lastly, cluster of optimism. Optimism is an attitude reflecting a belief or hope that outcome of some specific. So, ano bala ang optimism? Amo ni sa ang attitude sa isa ka tawo or belief na may ara sang hope para mangin manami ang iyang obra or mangin manami ang obra kag outcome sang iyang work. And that's all.
Here's the 5 core Filipino values. Dr. Ramirez studied the Filipino worldwide and values in her perspective as a phenomenological sociologist from centuries of practice. Number 1, mapagpasalamat. This is based on the aspiration of the Filipino to pamumuhay, life, and pananalig sa Diyos at sa kapwa, God and people faith. So when you say mapagpasalamat, as you can see in the right side, there have a picture that showed that before tamagkit sa aton nga mga meal, nang wala itagakalipat nga mga muyo, magpasalamat sa Ginoo sa sina nga pagkaon nga ginhatag niya para sa aton. So nakagisnanan na naton ng mga Pinoy. So next slide. Matatag. Filipino is being a nation susceptible to a natural disaster, learn to be powerful in a moment of needs and difficult circumstances that life threw at us. Power derived from our love for our family and our belief and the greater being. This is based on Filipino kaayusan. In reality, ayos na. In the popular phrase of the Filipino, when we are able to overcome problem. So, when you say matatag, kaya nang, even though nga damo, kana may ka-encounter nga mga problem sa imo nga self or natural disaster man na, like bagyo, pero naging mabakod ka sa gaabot pa nga mga pagdilaw para sa imo. Kag naging strong ka pagid. So, even though nga damo, may gaabot sa imo, mabaka lang nga, ayos lang na iya, kaya na iya, push yourself, amo lang na. Next slide. Number 3, masigasig. We do everything to get it when Filipino dreams of something, not for himself, but for our loved ones, relatives. Based on the kasaganaan, abundance, and ginhawa relief. Ginhawa in Bisaya, impulse breathe, and the soft breath flow, the soft life flow, and the feeling of well-being in a Filipino, according to the theologian Dr. Jose de Mesa. When you say masigasig, arang may goal ka sa kabuhi mo nga kaya mo na siya abuton. And like us, as a student of criminologies, ang goal today is to be a licensed criminologist someday. Not for only to ourselves, it is because to our parents or to our loved ones na ang ginhawa relief naman, arang looking forward if makatapos ka na sa schooling mo, syempre, nang go with the flow na lang ang tanan, kay may obra ka na, makabulig ka na sa ginikanan mo, kag makontak naman sila sa ilang nga pag-ubra. Amo nang ginasili nga do ka ay ayos na lang inyo nga pangabuhi with low in the flow and softly na lang. So next slide, number 4, mapagmalasakit. This compassion allows us to assist other friends, neighborhoods without exchange, asking for anything. This is based on the aspiration of Filipino to loob at damdamin. So when you say mapagmalasakit, I will give you an example. Nang may sunog, for example, sa isa ka balay, ang imo nga tupad balay na sunugan, syempre ikaw, may pagmalasakit sa imo nga kapwa or sa imo nga neighborhoods, syempre, mabulig ka mapatay ang sunog. Hindi kay ikaw isa sa makawat sang ilang mga gamit, ha? Ikaw mabulig sa ila para mapatay ang sunog, para hindi man sila gid masyado madamit yung ilang balay. So, amo na, biskan, wala kami nga may exchange pa. So, amo na siya. Number 5, magalang, the use of po or opo and pagmano, hand kissing is the gesture of demonstrate our respect and love to elder. As you can see in the right side, ang nakabutan din sa picture, ang batang magalang, karangalan ng magulang. So, kung arang mayo ka ang bata, syempre, dungog sa ginikanan mong kanila, mabas lang nga, arang nga bata pakabuot na yahaw, mayo ginang pagpadako sa ginikanan siya. Muna bala. So, kalabanan sa akong bisubong nga mga new generation, wala niya na siguro sa inyong gapo, sa Tagalog na kag ang hand kissing, kag ang pagmano, pero as para sa akon niya, ginagamit ko pa na sa balay, kung mag-abot ko, kung gabi, mamanog ko na, kung adlaw, kung maglakat ko, kiss ko sila ni mother kag ni father, as a sign of respect for them as your parents. So, that's all my topic.
The Philippine National Police Core Values. The police service demands from its members specialized understanding and abilities as well as great standard of ethics and morality. Key principle, love of God. These core values, this is one of the most important because God is hindi pwede na malipatan sa tanan, and we need to believe in our God. We need to trust Him na gabayan niya na mahimo ang aton nga hilimuon for our duties na makaya naton. And next is respect for authority. So respect means deep administration, due regard. For authority means legitimate lawful power. So example, may ara ta may mas higher sa aton and may ginsugo sa na illegal, pwede tanin sawayon. For example, ginsugo ito na patya ni sao tayo mo naman, so hindi dapat. It's because it's not legitimate, it's not lawful. So next is respect for women. So simple means respeto sa mga babae. So next is respect for sanctity of marriage. So sa amo ni kinanglan gid dapat respect, for example, kasal ka na and biluyan na lang si mo sawa or bana. Kay hindi ka namang itaas ang lain para sala na. And next is stewardship over material things. So stewardship, guardian or katiwala. So example, may mga bagay na butang na ginakatiwalaan sa aton sa or government owner, dapat mangin responsible kita sa paggamit. Hindi tapag abusohon kay hindi la kita ang magamit sang gamit or mausar. Mayara pa sang sunod nga magamit sang amo nang gamit, so we need to be responsible.
Servanthood. As police affirm unconditional service and love for the nation and individuals to serve its clientele and community with honor. As the word itself, it means police personnel are the servant of citizenry and the state. They should at first the public and the state interest than their own personal agendas. They should have an unconditional work ethics which involves performing their duties honestly and passionately. They should be the protector of the citizenry against all harm from the hand of the state to administer law. Duty first before anything else. Excellence. Police are committed in doing and making things occur effectively and efficiently in all efforts to accomplish more consistently and outstandingly with tangible beyond their back. It is the basis of police service that this means that every police personnel would exert at their utmost effort not to be the better but to be the best in service. They should be excellent in any field of their duty. They should be committed of their responsibilities as law enforcers and to strive for excellence. Embody to them that the satisfaction of their subject are the main objective in rendering police service. Next is integrity. Police takes an uncompromising and coherent position in fulfillment of their obligation to live an honest and it's according to the highest ethical and moral norms and compatible with their words and actions. Integrity is doing what was ethically and morally right even no one is watching. It means that every personnel should be honest and loyal to the administration of police service. They should not engage to any activities that are deemed illegal and out of their occupational obligation. They should maintain the ethical standards of PNP and live by it. They should be honest when in uniform or not. Courage. Police draw from moral strength to their collective and individual power to accept difficulties, duties, and they are courageous enough to speak against temptation, anomalies, corruption, and explosion and stand firm. The other term is bravery in the life. As a police officer, courageous is required character for the reason that will be tested not only physically but morally by many evils along the way while performing their duties. They should always hold on to the integrity and wholesomeness of the organization's principles and morals. They should always be willing to face any struggles and abstain from doing unlawful action because of the temptation of pleasures and comfortability of bad people will offer them in exchange for the protection of their illegal agendas. They shall not falter of this temptation and for that they will should be courageous enough to fight for the noble cause of PNP and not the enemies of the law.
Hello, good day everyone. I am Antonio Manaan and this is the part of my reporting in Chapter 3. Empowerment. Police reach out and create bridges of collaboration, nurture volunteerism, and operate harmony with their clientele by training individuals for a better and safer society in the process. Bulang police ga kwan gid ga extend gid sang ila bulig kag para maghimo sang steps para makakolab sa community kag maka-operate gid sila sang peace sa ilang client kag gina-training gid nilang individuals para sa safe and better nga society. And another one is this is the second responsibility with accountability. Police execute their responsibility and tasks as their moral duty is to serve the public with diligence and always bearing in their mind that they are accountable and duty to promote the public interest. Balang police ginahimo gid nila ang ila responsibility and task kay mo ginang ilang moral duty nga mag-serve sa public and always gid nila ginabear sa ilang kumensaron nga they are accountable sa ilang duty ang ilang they are accountable and duty to promote the public interest. Second is valuing people and respect for human rights. Police always maintain their fellow human beings' dignity whenever they cater the needs and serving and protecting them with compassion regards for their human rights. Bali ang pulis gina-maintain gid nila ang ilaw fellow human, ang dignity sang ilaw fellow human, kag biskan san-o gina-cater gid nila ang kinahanglanon kag ang serbisyo nga mabulig nila kag ma-protect nila ang community with their compassion regardless man sa ilang human rights.
So guys, that's the end of our presentation on chapter 4, which is Filipino core values. I hope you learned on this topic and thank you for watching.